New York City, the place where dreams are made and the city that never sleeps. But how did a small Dutch settlement transform into the most famous city on Earth? Behind the skyscrapers and bright lights lies a story of battles, immigrants, triumphs, and tragedies. From the Lenape people to Wall Street, from Ellis Island to 9/11, every chapter shaped the city we know today. This isn't just New York's story. It's the story of America itself. Let's journey back in time and uncover how New York became the world's greatest city. Long before skyscrapers, the island of Manhattan was home to the Lenape people. They called it Mannahatta, the land of many hills, a place of forests, rivers, and wildlife. In 1609, explorer Henry Hudson sailed up the river that now bears his name, opening the door for Dutch traders. By 1624, they built a small colony, New Amsterdam. Its purpose? Business. Furs, timber, and trade flowed through its harbor. In 1626, the Dutch famously purchased Manhattan from the Lenape, though the idea of land ownership was foreign to them. Still, this deal marked the beginning of European control. But New Amsterdam's Dutch days didn't last long. In 1664, the British seized the settlement, renaming it New York after the Duke of York. What began as a humble trading post was now a growing colonial port, destined to play a central role in America's story. By the 1700s, New York had become one of Britain's most important colonies, a busy port filled with merchants, soldiers, and ideas of freedom. But as tensions between Britain and its colonies grew, New York found itself at the heart of the American Revolution. In 1776, just days after the Declaration of Independence was signed, George Washington led troops in New York against the British. The battles were fierce, and the city quickly fell under British control, becoming their military headquarters for much of the war. Yet, despite occupation, the spirit of independence never died here. In 1789, after victory was won, George Washington was inaugurated as the first president of the United States in New York City itself. For a brief moment, this city wasn't just a colony or a port. It was the very first capital of a new nation. The 1800s transformed New York forever. This was the century of immigration. Millions of people, desperate for a new life, poured through Ellis Island. The Statue of Liberty, gifted in 1886, became their beacon of hope. Irish fleeing famine, Italians seeking work, Jews escaping persecution, all found their way here. Each community built its own neighborhood. Little Italy, Chinatown, the Lower East Side. The city swelled with diversity, languages, and cultures. Meanwhile, industry boomed, factories roared, railroads expanded, and New York became America's busiest port. But life wasn't easy. Overcrowding, poverty, and harsh labor conditions shaped the immigrant experience. Still, despite hardship, these new arrivals gave New York its greatest strength. Its identity as a melting pot, a place where the world came together in one city. By the end of the 19th century, New York wasn't just growing, it was becoming the symbol of the American dream. At the dawn of the 20th century, New York was bursting upward and outward. Immigration had filled the city, and now ambition reached for the skies. Steel, concrete, and bold engineering gave rise to landmarks like the Flatiron Building, the Chrysler Building, and the Empire State Building, once the tallest in the world. These skyscrapers redefined what a city could look like. Downtown, Wall Street grew into the financial capital of America, shaping global markets. Uptown, Harlem became the stage for a cultural revolution, the Harlem Renaissance, where jazz, poetry, and art gave African American voices a powerful spotlight. Subways linked boroughs, bridges spanned rivers, and New York began to feel unstoppable. A modern metropolis, alive with energy and innovation. In just a few decades, the city had transformed from a gateway for immigrants into the very symbol of progress and possibility. The mid-1900s tested New York like never before. The Great Depression hit hard, unemployment soared, and families struggled to survive. Yet the city remained a beacon, with projects like the Empire State Building symbolizing hope, even in dark times. During World War II, New York became America's arsenal and port of victory, sending troops and supplies overseas. But after the war, the city faced new struggles. The 1970s brought crime, economic decline, and a reputation as a dangerous place. Streets were rough, neighborhoods suffered, and many thought New York's best days were over. And yet, it never gave up. Artists, musicians, and everyday people kept its spirit alive. From Broadway to hip-hop, from Wall Street to community activism, the city reinvented itself again. Through hardship, New York showed its true character: resilience. No matter the challenge, the city always found a way to rise. By the late 20th century, New York was rising once more. The financial boom of the 1980s brought wealth and global influence. Times Square transformed from gritty streets into a bright, bustling icon. Art, fashion, and media solidified the city as a cultural powerhouse. But with triumph came tragedy. On September 11, 2001, New York faced its darkest day when the World Trade Center towers fell. The world watched in shock, but what followed defined the city. Out of the rubble came unity, courage, and renewal. New Yorkers stood together, proving that no act of terror could break their spirit. In the years that followed, the city rebuilt, not just its skyline, but its soul. The Freedom Tower rose where the Twin Towers once stood, a symbol of resilience. Today, New York stands as the ultimate symbol of diversity and ambition. More than 8 million people live here, representing over 180 nationalities and 200 languages. It is the financial capital of the world, a cultural giant, and a city of endless reinvention. From Wall Street to Broadway, from Harlem to Brooklyn, every corner tells a story. New York isn't just a place, it's an idea that no matter where you come from, you can make it here. And that's why it remains the city that never sleeps. New York's story is still being written every day. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss more stories like this. Share it with a friend who loves history, and I'll see you in the next video.